Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good Charlotte. It's a band apparently. And welcome to the madness that is the Charlie Marx Show. I'm Charlie Marx, and I'm kept awake at nights wondering how Q knows the exact gimmicks James Bond will need for a particular adventure. So, the tragic news from America. As you may or may not be aware, I'm a huge baseball fan and an even huger Yankees fan. Some time ago I ordered a Yankees top and was delighted to receive it prior to the new season opening. My top, with the name Soto on it, was ready to be worn for the first game of the opening. When I heard the news that Soto was now playing for the Mets, I know I should have gotten a Judge or Wells or Grisham top or just left it blank. But that's what happens when you think someone is more loyal than you are to the cause. I should have learned when I bought that Trump is a very clever guy t-shirt. A quick reminder to please like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications and follow the Charlie Marx Show. Also, please share, as sharing is daring. You can also leave me a comment, or why not join the show by telling me what's bugging you in the world with the Devil's Advocate. I can also be spied upon by you visiting www.charliemarx.co.uk. Coming up on tonight's show, we have all the latest fake news from around the world and beyond from the CM Newsroom, the Beatnik Mind, which got a tremendous response from the guy who does it, and usual moans and groans, which we'll pick up for the Devil's Advocate. Plus lots more. But first, a new pope was elected recently, so perhaps it's best to get some information on just how this is done with someone in the know-how in Chutzpah. Good evening, and welcome to this special edition of Chutzpah. I'm Archbishop Desmond 33, and I'm delighted to be informing you on how a new pope is elected. Now, as a bishop, I can only move diagonally, and more so, being an archbishop, I have a bad back. As the old Pope sadly died and went to his final resting place, a cemetery in Golders Green, the job of choosing a new Pope began. Leaders from the Catholic Church from around the world and further afield were gathered in the Vatican for the conclave. The conclave is the confidential process used to choose the Pope and can only be entered into if you have a special badge and a God Fan Club card. So, who can choose a Pope? Well, only senior Catholic leaders under the age of 80 and are married are eligible to vote. Plus there is a panel of judges, including a quasi-celebrity priest who was once on Songs of Praise, a nun who is about to release her third album, a rabbi who only showed up for the buffet, and of course Simon Cowell. Elections for the new pontiff take place inside the Sistine Chapel, beneath its famous Renaissance frescoes, whereas the election for a new rabbi take place in B&Q beside the reduced price frescoes. Some cardinals argue about the choice of the Pope. So the candidates for new leader of the church have to perform one song where they will be judged on talent, showmanship, and of course how good they look in a frock. This test is called Top of the Popes. The winner will be decided with a screamometer from music-loving young nuns and priests, and the most popular candidate goes through to the live final. Those who fail this section are sent home with a runners-up medal and a frozen lolly. These runners-up are known as ice popes. Once a new pope is finally chosen, he or she, though mostly he, is asked if they accept the job. Here is where we find out why there has never been a Jewish pope, as when asked this question in particular, they tend to hesitate and ask what the hours are and whether there is a pension. They also ask if they can have all the Jewish holidays off, which sometimes collide. The newly selected pope, once wages are agreed, is asked the name he wishes to take. One pope back in 1786 chose the name Pope Freddie Mercury III, but this was declined due to there not having been previous Pope Freddie Mercurys. Finally, the world will know there has been a new pope elected when they see white smoke rising above the Sistine Chapel. At the bottom is where most of the cardinals sit and vape. So now you know what has to happen to make a new pope up. Welcome back to the Charlie Marx Show, you adorable cherubs you. I've come to the conclusion, even though I can't say it, but I have come to it, that there is life on other planets. But they are watching us, and I just think they don't want to get involved. And I don't blame them. Still much more to come, but now it's time for the latest fake news from around the world and beyond with CM News. Good evening and welcome to CM News with me, Mrs. Beaton. Our top story. A woman in Yorkshire has been jailed for 7 years after being convicted of belonging to a terrorist organisation. Her defence counsel continued to argue her case by saying that her sister had asked her if she wanted a coffee. And she replied, ISIS. A 12-year-old boy in Zimbabwe has been given a 300-year life sentence for not tidying his room. The 12-year-old boy, who cannot be named because I can't pronounce it. US leader President Orange is to make a few structural changes to the images on Mount Rushmore. The construction will take place in the summer and be paid for by Mexico. It appears that his face, Elon Musk's face, and a few other characters will be there. A pensioner from Glasgow who has been waiting on a hearing aid from the NHS for over 32 years has finally received it. The company in charge of delivering the hearing aid refused to issue an apology, saying that it had been sent out for delivery over 30 years ago, but the pensioner never answered the door buzzer. A recently unearthed draft portrait of Mona Lisa painted by Leonardo da Vinci when he was at school has been found in a Pizza Hut in Canada. The portrait depicts a younger Mona Lisa in her not knowing when to say I'm full era, and is signed by young Leonardo with a note saying he was sorry for making her bulimic. Metropolitan Police Commissioners have admitted a huge mistake in ordering their new squad cars from China when 300 pandas in cars were delivered to them. And finally, a man with a bad back who has been waiting on a sex change operation was finally given a date for surgery, only to refuse it on the grounds that he'd straightened up. And that was the latest headlines. This is Mrs. Beaton for CM News. Good night. Thank you, Mrs. Beaton. And more from the CM Newsroom next time. But now, my very special guest. My guest this evening is a top informant, now fed up with the world's secrets, has decided to speak out. Now, she has asked that her identity is concealed for safety reasons, as she could face a backlash of retaliation. Please welcome via satellite Sharon. Thank you for joining us on the Charlie Marx Show, Sharon, which might not be your name. I read your report with great interest. Is it true that Vladimir Putin is a Mormon?
No, I said he was a moron.
Must have misread that one. Did JFK go for a walk with God?
No, he went for a walk with his dog.
Yes, that would probably make more sense. So, is Trump a man of nobility? A count?
You're very close.
I like mine better. And what about J.D. Vance? Is it true he's actually a machine?
No, I said he was a moron.
How about the revelation that Kate Bush doesn't exist?
No, my daughter Kate fell in a bush.
I see. Jesus didn't die on a cross?
No, Jesus was cross because at the Last Supper he got stuck with the bill.
And do you really believe that time travel is possible and that someone has come back from the future?
I think you'll find I said my favourite film is Back to the Future.
The world is going to end on Tuesday? AI has taken over Yorkshire?
No, I said that's how they talk in Yorkshire. They go, AI lad.
And I suppose you didn't say that fat women who wear leggings are oblivious to know what's going on behind them?
No, oh yeah, I did say that.
Well, that's all we've got time for, but please let me thank...
Excuse, am I not supposed to have my eyes blackened out?
Join me next time when we will be discussing funeral arrangements with my guest Sharon Henderson. I mean, someone who is not called Sharon Henderson. Now it's time to walk the cool walk with our leading man at the Nosy Parker Jazz Club in the Beatnik Mind. This is called Polly, I's thirsty girl. My girl Polly, she put the kettle on. My girl Polly, she put the kettle on. My girl Polly, she put the kettle on. And now we chill and we all have tea. But that evil chick, Suki, she take it off again. Yeah, the demon Suki, she took it off again. Oh, that monster Suki, she took it off again. And now all my brothers and sisters have all gone away. My girl Polly and evil Suki had a fight. The tension was really smoking. And when they say a watch kettle never boils, that is because it is broken. Speechless. And we'll be back at the Nosy Parker Jazz Club next time to hear the thoughts of the Beatnik Mind. Now, before we move on, I don't know if anyone caught the news a week or so ago when a court ruling that the legal definition of a woman is a biological woman. I'm so glad the news informed me of this, as I was just about to go on a date with a tree. Now it's time for another roundup of moans and groans and things that go irk in the night in The Devil's Advocate. Did any of you catch the David Attenborough documentary in the cinema a few weeks ago? I went along as it was shown on the day of David's 99th birthday, and Fiona insisted. I don't think I remember a time when he was not on TV, and I think the man is amazing. He truly cares for you, me, and the entire planet, and it certainly shows in this documentary. I was bowled over not only by the documentary, but the fact that it cost nearly 20 quid for 2 ice creams and 2 bottles of water. Yes, I see the irony of watching a David Attenborough documentary whilst drinking from a plastic bottle. There was a particular scene which showed the fishermen dredging the seabed for scallops and destroying the beautiful coral reef as they go, killing everything in sight and putting us one step closer to extinction. The horrific thing was that it was not illegal, even in parts of waters that were supposed to be protected. Of course, it always comes down to money and the ignorance of politicians, but there is so much more going on behind the scenes, and in this minefield of horror, David Attenborough is so positive that we can change things. When are we going to get it into our thick heads that we are completely unimportant in the grand scheme of things? We, human beings, are only renting space on this planet, and we don't have squatters' rights. Everything that existed before we came along is now extinct. Soon, hopefully, we will disappear. And depending on how stupid we are, puts a time on our exit. So let us pray to the pretend deity that Trump, Putin and all their friends make humanity vanish sooner rather than later, and let this planet return to its natural beauty, with not a single human being to be seen. Although they couldn't really be seen because there would be nobody there to see. I'll just stop there. We left the cinema with new thoughts and tears in our eyes. Fiona's tears lingered with the visions of the sea dredgers ripping up the ocean floor, and my tears were at the thought of the money I would never get back from the ice creams and water. Thank you for watching the Charlie Marx Show, and remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, share and follow me on www.charliemarx.co.uk. You can also buy me a coffee or join the channel for more and quite a bit more. So until next time, if you're not subscribed to the Charlie Marx Show, I will not buy you an ice cream.